Wednesday. You know what Wednesday calls with Paul. It's kind of a dreary day today.
It is, but it's.
You're brightening it up with your yellow.
That's why we're
rocking the mom hair. This is what you'd see me look like if I'm at the grocery store. So anyway, but questions that you should think about asking if you're in the process of hiring a realtor to either buy or to sell your home. I think these are, in today's environment, people are really we're seeing more iBuyers. We're seeing the industry change. Tell everybody what an iBuyer is.
anything like what it sounds, but it's this new group of folks who are coming out and they're buying homes direct, and they're trying to get as close to, and they're buying it with algorithms sub 500 range right now. But they'll come out, and then they'll subtract for repairs and all that kind of stuff. They buy the home. The iBuyer, a lot of my colleagues are real upset about these guys coming in. I think they're actually a pretty cool tool for some people. I don't think that they're evil or anything else. They're figuring out how to make convenience happen. So if you want to sell your home and you don't want to put it on the market at all, and you're okay with not making as much money as you can, they're a wonderful tool.
Well, it's kind of, to me, it's like the Uberification. I just made a word up. The
like
Uberification of real estate. And I want to say hi to our friend Emma, who's on the line. Thank you. If you guys, anybody who's watching, if you can't hear us, please drop a comment or let us know. Yeah, so but even with iBuyers, I mean, you're right. There's definitely a time and a place for that kind of thing. And I also agree with you that I don't think it helps maximize your profit. And the part that concerns me about that is, I think for most people, maybe not everybody, but for most, it's probably going to be the biggest purchase that you ever make.
Yep.
And it's probably going to be your largest asset that you ever have.
Yeah.
And so if you're going into a transaction where you're dealing with your largest asset, I think that the value of an experienced real estate agent is really, really key in making sure that you get the best investment and the most money that you can out of that asset. If it were me, I'm probably not going to trust that to an agent who is not got the experience and is just paid to open doors or that kind of thing. But if you agree with me and you're looking at engaging a realtor, there are some things. The key is finding the right real estate agents, and experience is invaluable there. I think realtors have a bad rap, honey.
Well, I think we have over the years had a lot of what I call puppy dog realtors.
What's that mean?
And order taker realtors, where you're just kind of a puppy dog, following people around, opening up doors, saying yes to everything.
Not adding value.
Not adding value, but just doing as instructed, sort of like being a waiter at a low-end restaurant.
Right. Not giving you any guidance or steering you the right way.
Right. No advice. No, just like, here's the.
Well, and I think part of the problem is that people come into real estate and you've got a brand new realtor who is viewed as being equal to someone with 20 plus years of experience. And that just doesn't take into account things like the number of transactions they've had, the lessons that you learn through those transactions, you've been to war and back, you've been through battles, you learn things, you learn strategies. So the key.
And it's not really all their fault. I mean, we've had like this long, wonderful, hot market where anybody can get into the business and really make some money, whether you're a puppy dog realtor or whatever you are. You can just stand around and kind of make the times where you've had to really dig deep and figure out how to serve people in a super meaningful.
From the highs and the lows of a market.
Especially the lows. Mm-hmm.
A realtor, I think, is really involved making sure that you're asking good questions. So we're going to share that if you're in the process of looking to buy or sell a home, that we really encourage. A lot of it's about finding the right fit, and I think that through these questions you'll uncover some things that hopefully will help you choose somebody that will be a guide and an advocate for you through the process. Number one thing, at least I think they should ask, is does that realtor have hyper local market knowledge?
Yes.
Tell me why that's important.
Well, you need to well, it's not just hyper local knowledge. It's the actual knowledge of the product that you're selling. Like, you should be able to speak pretty fluidly about areas that you serve. You should be able to really come from the cuff. You should always go back and back it up with real true knowledge. Sometimes I even correct myself right here in our neck of the woods, but I really know what I'm doing in here. I know how it works. The customs are different. Just right here in Austin alone, it's different here in the middle of town versus like Cedar Park and Leander. They do things a little bit different. And in Buda, I'm learning right now. Mm-hmm. It's just a little bit different. So it's important to know how people operate, and then also about the homes themselves, from all the way from plumbing, what kind of plumbing is likely to have, what kind of issues are you likely to experience. And when we forecast, I try to forecast out like over the next 5 years, you're probably going to see the following conditions, things that you're going to have to address over those 5 years. And you only get that from like being around and knowing the area and knowing the homes.
For sure. I mean, I think it's everything from Central Austin. You're going to have cast iron plumbing issues, a brand new construction, cast iron plumbing issues. So someone who works primarily in Mueller is not necessarily going to have the insight to really guide you through the buy and the sell of your home in that unique neighborhood. The problem, I think, and we. Okay.
Can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
I guess I did.
Yeah.
It's like the interrupting cow. Linda keeps talking about.
Moo.
So like a common problem in Central Austin, I'm sure in a lot of the older areas, is like, so when people go do a CMA, they'll do like, well, let me see what's a quarter mile around this for solds. And in Austin, you'll have a main thoroughfare like Burnett Road or Koenig Lane that really interrupts that quarter mile, and so people are pulling comps from what can be a very different area. And if you don't know the geo.
Well, just like we talked about last week between Rosedale and Georgian Acres.
Right.
Now, Georgian Acres was selling significantly less than Rosedale, even though they're just really across Burnett Road from each other.
And it probably will forever.
Yeah. So,
Smithtown Live asked, what about marketing?
Well, we're going to get to marketing because that's huge.
Baby.
Thank you for the question.
Marketing's right here.
Yeah, that is one of the questions that's coming. So stay tuned for that. So thank you. Just going back to this market knowledge, though, I think the problem I see, particularly we're in some global referral groups, is that someone will say, like you say, do you have experience working in Hyde Park? Every builder's going, oh yeah, I can work Hyde Park. I can work Hyde Park. The problem is that everybody's going to say yes. Our tip for you.
Well, they shouldn't. And frankly, Azar, if you're watching, we need to talk about that.
It's a different issue. The point being that if you're interviewing a realtor, know that they're going to say yes, but then ask them to back that up. Ask them to show you their experience map. Most realtors will have a map that shows where they've sold homes, and you'll be able to see geographically where the highest concentration is. Are they working out in the lake area and selling luxury homes with lakefront views? Are they working Cedar Park, Leander, and Round Rock? Are they like us, very highly concentrated in Central Austin? So ask them to geographically illustrate where they've closed deals, and that will let you know if they really are being candid about where they truly have experience.
You want to verify the truthiness of what they tell you.
Truthiness.
What was that guy's? Was that Coburn? Sarah? Stephen Colbert? That was Stephen Colbert, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Truthiness?
You're off on a tangent. I have no idea. Okay, so that's question number one. Ask about their hyper market knowledge. Number two, the level of experience. Why does that matter?
Well, I hope it matters because you've made a lot of mistakes, and you learn from those mistakes, and you get better every time. And
you've done 600 deals in your career.
Yeah, just
you. This is not other agents working at Homesville Realty Group. Just you. Yeah, you can complete.
That's a little intimidating when you say it.
Over 600 transactions. That is a drastic difference between someone who is brand new licensed and has done 2 transactions. I mean, over the course,
or 20 or 100,
or 20 or 100. I mean, you've lived through those battles, and so part of that means is that you're going to have the foresight to protect a client's interest. Someone with experience, not necessarily Paul, is going to have the foresight to protect your interest. They're going to be able to tell you kind of where the economy is going, what the market's doing. They're going to be able to predict what kind of issues you're going to have in your deal, and they're going to come armed with strategies to deal with those issues, which really means that in the long run, you have less drama, less just difficulty.
You have less heartache, hopefully,
Yeah.
because you know we've been through it so many times. I was talking this morning to a lady who is selling her house for sale by owner. She was getting the word out, letting me know. You know, she's like, well, a friend of mine told me you sell a lot of Central Austin, and so, you know, can you? We got to talking about listing her home, and what turned up is that she's having a hard time articulating to her husband, who really doesn't want to list with the full commission. That where the real benefit in us is when you run into the unknowns,
Mm-hmm.
the things that you don't know. And over the course of all the transactions I've done, we've run into a lot of unknowns. And so now I know some of the unknowns, and every now and then I run into unknowns still, even today.
Mm-hmm.
But the good news is I've learned how to overcome
Right.
the unknowns, and I have a roadmap for that to get there. And I think that's what comes with time. And
ask your realtor how long they've been in business, but also ask them how many deals they've done, because you have a lot of part-time realtors.
Yeah.
You have people that might have 10 years of experience, but they only sell 2 or 3 homes a year. And so make sure that you figure out the level of experience the realtor has that you're looking at. Second thing I would suggest, I want to get to the question about the marketing skills. This is really geared towards sellers, but for sellers, does the person you're interviewing have incredible marketing skills? There is a difference between a listing agent and a marketing agent. And in today's real estate environment, you cannot get away with putting a sign in the yard and putting in the MLS and calling it a day. People are buying homes online. People are looking at homes online. And so you need to have an agent who has a concrete marketing plan, who has an active strategy, not just, I'm just going to put it on Facebook and see what happens, but they're actually investing dollars in marketing a home online. And so you want somebody who's going to have a really strong marketing plan. So my advice is to look at the full package and ask the candidate that you're interviewing what their marketing plan is in detail. But don't just stop there. I'm going to encourage you to then go check them out on social media and see if the things that they tell you they're doing, they're actually doing, because you're going to meet a lot of agents that have listing packages and things look really pretty, and they sold one home and they paid for great photos on that home, and you know they've got a really good example. But I want to see, and I hope you'll look to see, what are they doing in their day-to-day business to make sure that they're marketing those homes, and are they doing the things that they tell you that they're going to do?
verify their truthiness again.
Again
With the truthiness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Question. So thank you for that, you guys. That question that you asked on Instagram was fabulous. The next question we would ask is, are they a skilled negotiator? An experienced realtor is basically a professional negotiator, but I think that negotiation skills end up getting overlooked a lot when you're thinking about a realtor. So tell us a little bit about why negotiation skills matter.
Well, because that's how you get your best deal.
Both.
And a meeting of the minds.
For true.
So that, and hopefully, and you protect your client, and you put their needs ahead of, you negotiate the heck out of a deal for somebody, and if you can improve that deal just a little bit, well, then that's what you do. That's a big part of our job, and then you set that up from the get-go. It's not something that you do in the middle. It's not something you make up. For sellers, we have strategies that we've run those plays over and over again. And for buyers, we have strategies. One of the coolest things, this is another one that goes to experience, that clients who are far smarter than I am, and they also bring in their own part of playbook. So I get to take what I know and meld it with what they know, and you had a transaction with an attorney that had a really great negotiation strategy that you've now kind of added to your arsenal of things to use. The other thing I think that's important about negotiation, though, is that you're a deal maker, but that also means an experienced and skillful negotiator has the ability to sometimes keep a deal from falling apart. Not just getting the deal, but when there's turbulence in the deal, you have those strategies you talked about, and you're really, an experienced negotiator is going to be important in helping keep that deal, make it all the way to the closing table. I think setting expectations and making sure people understand what's going on. And the only way you can set that expectation is by having been to that rodeo a couple of times or 10 times or how many other times I've done it.
I also would say that negotiation important. You know, in my background as a lawyer, there were a lot of different personalities that come to bear. Say, you know, you scorch the earth, and then they turn around and they want to know, why is the ground hot? And I think that happens in real estate too. Sometimes people like the thrill of the fight. They get excited by the battle, but that adds sometimes a lot of drama. I mean, if you can accomplish the same objective without necessarily ruffling feathers, your client's going to come out ahead in the long run. And so you as a potential buyer or seller, you don't want someone who's just going to fan the flames of conflict because they like it.
You really don't. You don't want to throw a grenade into the middle of a discussion. It's it's completely unproductive. I see people do it all the time, and people get backed into a corner, and they're not thinking about the big picture. You know, the big picture on both sides is really important for everybody to keep in mind. These are lives we're dealing with, and like to take it lightly and just, you know, shoot from the hip, or like speak out of turn, or like try to offend somebody is just it doesn't serve either side. Well,
and you know, I saw that a lot, particularly in the legal field, because people were showing off for their clients, particularly if their client was in the room and they wanted to show what a big badass they were. But a lot of times,
can you say that on
I
Facebook?
just did.
Oh my!
So we'll see.
Oh my! Our wholesome reputation might be.
Okay, we're not. Can you get back on task? All right. So how do you tell if someone's a skilled negotiator? I think you ask them what their negotiation style is. I also think you can take a look at their statistics a little bit. You know, look at their list to sales price ratio. You know, that goes again to experience, their ability to negotiate deals. Anything else you'd say on that?
Yeah, that's a hard one because you're really not in a negotiation until you're in one.
Well, but I think if you can tell someone's braggy, like I did this and I did that, like if they're talking in a way.
If they use a lot of I words, they're probably not.
Well, and if they're talking about incendiary negotiations and conflicts and stuff in a way where they seem to have enjoyed it, I think that's a warning sign.
Yeah, you should be able to tell a lot by just visiting with them. I mean, is this somebody with an even head? Is this somebody who can really stay cool in the hot seat? There are times in real estate negotiations where the seat gets kind of warm.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we have somebody, I hate to say this, but sometimes when there's somebody a little green on the other side and it's a warm seat for them, I can be quite comforting and really win the day for my clients.
By being the nice guy.
Yeah, and like everybody wins, the agent feels better, my clients win. But like there's a way to be real nice and win.
So going on, because you and I keep this is a good one. We like to talk about this one a lot. Next question would be, what do your past clients say about them?
Oh, yeah.
You know, I think
that's the real track record.
Well, you're going to spend a lot of time with a realtor. You're going to need to find somebody that you like, someone that you trust. Absolutely. You know, I would suggest thinking about what kind of personality style you appreciate, what kind of work ethic or work characteristics are important to you. Do you want somebody who's highly responsive? Do you want somebody who's warm and friendly? Or do you want somebody who's all about the numbers? Do you know, what's important to you? And then I would say take a time and look at that person's reviews online. Obviously, they should be well regarded and well rated. You can check them out on Yelp. You can check them out on Zillow. You can check them out on Google. There's tons of places to look at reviews. But not only should they be highly rated, look for characteristics in their reviews that speak to those things that you've identified are important to you. So if you want someone who's super responsive, let's make sure that they've got reviews that talk about how responsive they are. I'm rambling here, but I'll give you a chance in a second. The other thing I would say is to ask the candidate if you can talk to some of their references or their past clients. You may not have any intention of calling them. I probably wouldn't. But by asking the question, you're going to be able to gauge, how does the agent feel about that? Are they comfortable with you reaching out to some clients and talking to them? And that's going to be an indicator in some respects of what you can expect. I would also ask what kind of relationships the agents have with their past clients. Because again, that's going to be a barometer of whether it's one deal and I'm done, or these are people that I continue to reach out to, that I'm a resource for, that I'm a help to. You know, that we continue to have an ongoing connection, I think is indicative of the kind of agent that you would be working with. Do you have any thoughts on any of that?
Well, yeah, I do. Two, I actually had somebody ask if they could talk to our clients the other day, and I said sure, whatever. And then I called her back a little bit later, and I was like, hold on, like all these people are super busy, and I don't want to bug them. And then I let her know. This is another thing you guys need to really pay attention to. Like how, are you going to be in a buyer's rep agreement where you're tied down with no way out and obligated to this this agent without being able to get out, like a buyer's rep agreement. And we don't do that. Like, so I believe that you don't know me or another agent, not just me, but like everybody.
You don't like us. We don't want you to work with us.
Yeah, you don't know the agent until you start working with them. So we don't tie you down in a buyer's rep agreement because it doesn't seem like the right thing to do until you know us. And once you know us, hopefully we've added so much value that like you don't see a way of doing a deal without us. So we do that. And I shared that with her. And she was cool with it. I was a little bit reluctant to let her call our clients, not because I was worried about what they might say, but because they're so busy that I really didn't want to like.
Well, we can
bug them,
probably need to find a solution to that because I do think that people, particularly if I'm telling people to ask that, I don't want anybody to feel like the ball's being hidden because I do think we have a lot of raving fans. I think we have a lot of people that would really say good things about you. But the point is absolutely true. It's everybody has busy lives, and it is hard to carve out time.
Yeah, but I started like going through our list and looking at like, who do I want to have call? And I'm like, busy.
Well, we'll talk about that later. So what's the next thing that we would say ask? And this one may be uncomfortable for you, but I think it's worth asking, what is their experience helping someone like you? The reality is that most real estate transactions are triggered by some kind of important life event. You're getting married, you're getting divorced.
Nice.
You're having a baby, you're retiring, your kids have moved out of the house, you're downsizing, you're moving out of state, right? Like there's some kind of triggering event. Maybe you're an investor. You want to make sure that the realtor that you're choosing has experience with the unique situation that you happen to be in, and that they've helped people through similar life changes. Helping an investor is a different kind of thing than helping someone find a home with good schools. What would you add to that?
Well, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, the type of buyer that you are, what you're looking for, the product, the
seller.
And seller, whatever you're trying to solve, if they've been down that road before, that's a real win. Especially if they've gone down that road many different times and seen all the different forks that go down it and where the bumps are.
So you be the judge of whether you're comfortable sharing what your personal situation is. But if you are, I think it's a good idea to ask the prospective agent or if they have experience dealing with those kinds of situations. Estates, another example, getting valuations on properties and that kind of thing. Another question I would ask, regardless of whether you're a buyer or seller, I would ask about their approach to multiple offer situations.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
On both sides. So why is that important as a seller, and why would that be important if you're a buyer?
Well, right now we're running like one in 5 homes sold went through a multiple offer situation.
We had a lot more than that on our end.
Well, on our end, yeah, but like citywide, that's about the number.
Okay.
Give or take. So whether you're on the sell side or buy side, if 1 in 5 are in multiple offer situation, you should probably have some winning game plans that work.
So as a seller, it's kind of the Wild West, as you've used to describe it before. There aren't any real rules. As a seller, you want your realtor to have a plan on how, one, to help generate multiple offers, and then two, what their approach is going to be when you get multiple offers, because that is how you get your best maximum value for your home.
Yeah.
And if you're a buyer, Austin's market is very competitive, and so you want to make sure that your realtor has tips for winning beyond throwing money at the problem.
Yeah.
Because there are different levers that you can pull that don't necessarily involve upping your price. And so make sure you've got someone who's experienced in those areas. So that's it. Those are our 7 questions that we recommend that you ask as you're trying to find out whether a realtor is the right fit for you. But at the end, I personally think a lot of it comes down to trusting your gut.
Yeah.
You've asked these questions, do some reviews, ask around online, and see, do they really listen to you? Or are they just on autopilot doing their sales pitch, right? Like they want to pitch things at you and they're not really listening. Do they ask insightful questions? Do they seem to care about your goals? Do you trust them? Do you like them? Do you think you'd like spending time with them?
You may be with them for a long time. Then again, you might be with them a short time if they're really good.
Right.
Get the job done.
And I would also say, just as a last thing, that experience, we all know a family member, I think, who's a realtor, or we have a friend who's a realtor. You got a cousin that just got their license. Find a way to really make sure that you aren't just going the route of obligation, but that you're maximizing this asset that you have by choosing a realtor that's going to bring value, guide you, and really make it a stress-free experience, because it doesn't have to be awful and it doesn't have to be stressful.
No, it should be partially a good time. I mean, it's nobody goes out and says, I'm going to buy a home to have a good time, but there's no reason you can't.
Exciting. It should be.
Well, it is kind of at first, and then it gets kind of right. I mean, both have their own journeys, and we can go over that maybe in another video, but it's not like going out to a movie or going two-stepping.
Well, thank you for joining along on episode 14 of Calls with Paul. We'll see you next Wednesday at 12 p.m. And if you have any questions about things you'd like to have answered, please reach out and let us know. We're always welcome and willing to try to customize these sessions to match the things that you want to know about. So we'll see you next week.
All right. Adios. We forgot to do the... We forgot to do, not yet.